Then for X, you just do two of the straight lines with the fat bottom. The fat bottom's at the bottom, but they're just crisscross.
I don't think so.
No, there. Yeah, the little one.
For Y, you make it's like a short V, so it only comes down about halfway into your letter with fat tops.
On the hook. Hanging.
Then
By itself. Second one in.
you just
So 1, 2.
Show me some fighting, guys.
Ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Yeah. Ow! Ow! I'm on the hill.
and then Z, just draw Z, and then you just make the
Yeah. Yeah.
And it takes practice. It has, it's the A that has an open pot. And then E is another one. So you got a fat part in the middle, and then just fat part in the middle.
What about the B's and C's?
B's and C's.
What you guys doing in here?
See, that's, you don't use all of
What are we doing?
This is like the
Did you
quilt.
get this thing working?
Come sign right in with our family. And
Oh,
then
cool.
you can sign Joey.
Oh, look, I got an arty shot.
Oh,
in
another
the mirror.
shot. No, I won't.
Get something video music.
Hi, Lizzie. Amo. Uncle Nathan. Eric's not feeling too well, so he's got his little Sprite there. Yeah. And who's doing that artwork, Emo? He's writing on the chart. Hi, Dad.
You put Brian, just first name.
The royal signing.
Royal signing, sneaky signing.
Use your new calligraphy, your newfound calligraphy skills.
Half with like 25 cents or something and buy a loaf of bread and a popsicle, and then we could walk home. I was 5 when we moved, so that tells you how long ago it was. And my other memory from Salt Lake City is the original kitchen hutch and the original baby bassinet that Dad made with hand tools for me for Christmas. We had Fluffy was. And Barney, the pet poodle. We had George first. Oh, and then the evil devil Satan spawn dog that loved Diane. Diane held this little, I remember it looking something like a rat. And Diane would let her hold it while she watched TV, hold her. If I so much as went, hi puppy. And one day she was holding it and watching TV, and I just leaned over to go like, and it attached itself to my cheek. As I recall, Mom working clever, but she went to the vet and said, what should we do? Our dog has just bit our little girl, couldn't got her eye, it's left him. Well, he said, well, what did you do? And they said, well, we spanked him with a newspaper. And he said, well, I'm here to tell you, if it had been my little girl, I'd done a hell of a lot more than it did with a newspaper. They had to put the dog down.
Yeah,
Once
he
the dog
said
bites,
you
like
have
that.
to realize that dogs are dispensable, and that's a vet. He says you can't tolerate a dog in your home.
I was pretty before then.
Well, then I remember the pool of blood in the front sidewalk when
Oh, I lost my teeth.
knocked your teeth out, fell over. I remember hitting you for it.
I remember
I fell out of the high chair in the thin room, right onto the
I
cement.
had a big scar for a while. My brain fell out.
And maybe you don't know, I went to the doctor
I got
across the
special
street,
stuff.
and I asked him, to put, he said, well, it should have stitches. He says, but you have to realize I'm used to putting the stitches where they don't show. It was an obstetrician.
I remember Barney the dog, which was a clever little black cockapoo, really smart dog, did dancing and stuff. But once we were all dressed as pioneers and Dad built us a covered wagon, and we, probably for 24th of July board party, but we were pretending our yard was the trek, and we were trekking, and we had the dog with us, and Dad was watching. I remember Brownie lifted his little leg in wet, and Dad said, your water barrel just sprung a leak. I remember thinking Dad was the I'm guessing it was when Grandma was back east, because for some unknown reason, Dad was babysitting the four of us. And I remember thinking this was a strange situation. None of us quite knew what to do. You know, Dad's in charge to get us to bed, to feed us. And so we were fooling around a lot, and Dad yelled, "Hop in bed!" And Steve gets up and goes in his bed. So they opened, remember, we were all kind of one big bed. We're all hopping. I can remember thinking, our Dad's going to kill us. And he laughed. Kind of a hush over the house. And I remember peeking in the garage, you know. And there's our Dad with a shop light on the chicken sewing. And so we all went to bed hoping, you know, Dad, if anybody can fix a chicken. Dad can. And first thing, Christmas morning, we all run to the tree. I got a tea set. I got this. Dad looks up, chicken. Dead.
That was traumatic. I remember that being real traumatic.
I remember being traumatic.
Oh, it was bad.
I got that.
You was always.
I think it's because he drank so much. It was hot summer. He drank lots of lemonade.
Came in the house, buckets of all. But we would put a bucket on that back gate. Remember when the scary Indians would come beg for food?
At the door,
And we'd put a bucket there so that when somebody swing through the gate, the bucket totally dumped on them. And I can remember calling friends over one time, "Want to play? Come on over." Then you'd be on the roof, the water blows.
Oh, now's a good time to tell
Real
one on
Indians.
Julia too. She went to her friend's house and they were having barbecue. You probably most of you heard this one. And they were barbecuing their chicken, and she and her friend were there and tasting the barbecue sauce. And she came home and told me, she said, "Oh, Mom,
Spoons,
they
we just
just
poured
got
cups
the
and drank
best.
it. It was so good.
They got the best barbecue sauce. You've got to get her recipe for barbecue sauce." So I called Sister Peterson.
Sister, she was not Mormon.
Mrs. Peterson.
Over and over again, kept wanting that recipe for her barbecue. And after I called so many times, she says, "Beta, I'm going to have to tell you there's no recipe for that barbecue sauce. It's strictly," what was it?
Sherry.
And they had just...
Alcohol.
I remember dipping our fingers and then getting spoons and then just getting little cups. It was warm. You know, it wasn't like it was warm like a sauce. That was when we dressed down for PE in full white underwear instead of colored bikinis. Everybody else had Zoris on, cutoffs, and halter tops.
How old were
And
you?
so I was 14. So I went home that day and said, "Mom, I need bikini underwear, I need flip-flops, shorts, and a bunch of ugly t-shirts." Because it was still in. So, they still
It
is.
hasn't changed in 30 years. Yeah.
It was culturally really a blow.
It was not good.
It was hard.
High school would have been better for Julia.
And I remember that guy at church. Our state president's name was President Folger. I remember laughing so hard at this in church. We had a convert come to the ward who just joined a man, saying, "I'm so thankful. Everyone's been so good to me. I'm so appreciative of our president and you, sir, President. You, Ben." Another name of coffee instead of Folger.
Julia, that was here to tell me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is hanging in our garage now, Steve. What's the story behind it?
Well, the year I graduated from high school, which was part of the elections, Bill Speltz was running for president, and they were the Road Runners. And so I was their campaign
That was the
manager.
party name.
Yeah, I was their campaign manager, and we made this, sat on top of the sign, then they had the big plaque that had their name and Bill Speltz, and I don't remember who else for president. And then the bottom had the legs and the coyote that they were standing.
Kids have wondered what it is.
Oh, you brought that over with. You have to get home in one piece.
Yeah, get home and get it plugged back in.
Yeah, I get all the lights in the garage rewired, and Grandma says,
What is that?
Is this the early version of an outlet?
Yeah, this is the original virgin.
Virgin.
Original virgin? I can see why.
Never been plugged in.
"It's got one nail in," and
It's a harem.
When I was a senior in high school, our seminary had an open house, and we did a panorama.
It's on my wall too.
Oh, yeah. When I decided I wanted to be an artist and I was going to sell, these little plaques were huge in the 70s, little everything. I would put out an order to Dad and say, you know, I think I could paint 100 of them, and Dad would go out in the shop. He'd check with me what edge I liked. He'd show me different routers. He'd bought routers. I'd say, well, I want this many days and this size, and he would go out, cut them for me, sand them for me, stain them for me, seal them for me. And then I'd sit down, I painted hundreds of these and sold them in high school. Hundreds of them, hundreds of those.
Dad always said though, he liked to make big pieces of wood into little pieces of wood.
And once again, Ben, now that you're grown up, you think, you know, he'd work all day and
Never thought about how much
and,
work
you
these
know,
things were.
he would just go out there and he'd have them all done for me, and I could go out
You
and
say, oh,
paint.
thanks.
Thanks,
You go,
yeah. And he would even drill these and put these in, the hangers in for me. Sold hundreds of them. Don't remember giving Dad any of the profits. Story, somewhat tragic, but we find amusing. When Diane and I went to pick up Mom in New Zealand, and we had just, well, the boat trip was canceled because of a very big wind. Crucial to the story. We were walking along visiting. Oh. We suddenly look at Mom. She's running down the street. Her wig is blown off. Furry creature going down the street. I turn and walk the other direction. I start laughing. We should have run. We watched her run clear down the street trying to stop her wig.
I was laughing so hard.
She was laughing. So she finally gets it, of course, puts it on backwards. And Diane and I begin to laugh, and we wet ourselves. We just laughed. So we made puddles on the sidewalk. It was very, very funny. I have memories of when you watch television stuff, and Mom get a ballpoint pen and draw all over my soles of my feet. And I loved that feeling.
Oh.
Drawing on the soles of my feet, or she, you know, you could raise your shirt and say, tickle my back, and Mom would just tickle your back. While you Sure, yeah.
I remember sacrament meetings.
You get your arm
falling asleep
tickled.
at church with Mom tickling your back.
Yeah, it was heaven. And I have a very vivid memory. Diane has a negative view on this memory, but I do remember I was and am a pretty deep sleeper. And so I would wake up, and she says I was famous for waking up, throwing up in my bed because I wouldn't come to in time to realize what was wrong to get myself to the bathroom. And I remember in 5th grade, waking up, realizing I was ill without the time, and getting sick and being terribly ill actually, and Dad was cross at me with you're 11 years old, you can make it to the toilet, and just being so ill, I was just, you know, really crying, upset, that horrible, horrible feeling. And I remember Mom rocking me all night in a rocker, you know, 5th grade.
I'm going in
And I remember how comforted it was. It was like, finally, I'm so sick. There's my mother rocking me at that big age. I also can remember a happy memory shopping. When I had that lump on my throat that my brothers teased me that my Adam's apple was bigger than theirs. And Mom saying, Dad, would you look at it? And Dad saying, swallow. And I swallowed, and he said, take her to the doctor. And that was serious. Dad didn't say that, ever. You had to be really sick. And I went to the doctor first thing in the morning, went straight from that doctor to a surgeon, and the surgeon said, I'll meet you at the hospital this afternoon. What was the first thing we did? I never went home again for the next week. Mom and I went straight to JCPenney's, bought beautiful nightgown, robe, matching slippers, new underwear, some books, and I went to the hospital thinking, this is the best thing
She
that's
always
ever
did
happened to
after
me.
she got
A
there.
tumor.
I remember the wheelchair. You thought the wheelchair was real
I remember
cool
Mom, and
stuff.
I told Mom that must have been handled amazingly well. In my memory, it's one of my happiest childhood memories, is getting a tumor and having the surgery and spending a week having things bought for me and being
Oh, the
frustrated.
hospital would do anything you
It was
asked.
the best party I ever had. It makes you feel loved, Mom. And so, as the Queen Mom, what does the Queen of England, as everyone knows, she owns the giantest cut diamond
Oh,
in
you
the
got me a
world.
new diamond?
We got you the bigger stone than the Queen's. And more valuable because we all know that the treasures of memory and of family are more precious than diamonds. So here's the greatest stone. She's frail, isn't it? The giantest stone for the Queen of a memory of a wonderful reunion.
We're gonna have it made into a ring.
We're gonna have a necklace. Let's go swimming. And we've got this, a picture of the royal family for you. Should I do it upside down? Twice? I did it twice trying to fix that. This is soon to be replaced with a photo of the royal. Don't read the tiny word, I was feeling naughty.
Royal what?
This is the royal family, and they all lived happily ever after. Here's all, everybody has signed it. And we think you need this to know that you're totally the coolest grandma on the planet. So we're going to put this in your garden, and he's going to be glued on a little rock. Totally. But
He's terracotta, so he
Yeah,
wants more
right.
pressure.
Well, we tried that. We decided he needs his own rock. Well, we can try it.
But we need to be careful with him, because
He breaks, that doesn't.
Steve has done this, haven't you done this?
Yeah, we knew you loved it. That's why we picked it.
Is it carved in the rock?
Uh-huh.
It says Shaver Lake.
Hip hip huzzah!
Hip, hip, new bra!
That's what-